Welcome, everybody. You're watching The Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith, hanging out with Lorraine Toussaint in The Equalizer, coming up on CBS. She's in Your Honor on Showtime. Lorraine, you're everywhere in the Viacom CBS family. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be in the Viacom CBS family.
So Sunday is the big day, and people really are excited about it. And I'd love to talk to you about your experience with Equalizer, because obviously people know the show from way back. They know the Denzel movies. We get a whole new spin on it with you and Queen Latifah and the rest of the cast. So what was it like putting this one together?
You know, it's I've always admired Queen, and we've sort of circled each other socially, but never got a chance to work together. So when this opportunity came up, I jumped at it. And also, I love that old franchise. You know, the films with Denzel Washington, and I mean, you know, those great scenes in the diner. I mean, you know, and I mean, he's such a dark, you know, kind of really off, slightly crazy, lone wolf, ex-CIA. We're very different. Latifah's character, McCall, plays. She is indeed ex-CIA. She's just retired. She's done all the dark stuff that you would think that people in the CIA Black Ops actually do. But she's left behind this life with a daughter who's 15, and since her divorce, I've been taking care of her daughter. Now she's retired. She's come home, and she wants to resume that family life. Not so easy. So I spent a lot of the show at the time of the series refereeing between mom and teen. And I know a little bit about that because I have a 16-year-old. So I speak 16-year-old. So that was very helpful going into this show.
It's always nice when life can help you out with your art.
And it sure is.
It certainly goes a long way. And you also mentioned the fact that there's just a lot of different layers in the show, whether it's your character, it's Queen's character, and there's the freedom to explore all of this. So how cool is it for you to just see these opportunities in a way that maybe women haven't had the opportunities to really explore all the different layers of who they are three-dimensionally on TV?
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up in an era in Trinidad where the only Black woman I ever saw on television was Diane Carroll in Julia. You know, to have come this full circle, to come this far, and we've got a ways to go still, but to be on television in a network show starring with another strong, powerful Black woman, these are the things that make dreams come true, and great role models for young girls also coming up after us.
Representation is so important. And Lorraine, you've worked with so many heavy hitters in the industry. You mentioned the fact that you and Queen had known each other socially, but what really resonated with you about the way that she moved on set, or just the way that she did her thing as the number one on the call sheet?
You know, she is as cool as you think she would be. You know, I feel kind of geeky around Queen, but I discovered that she's kind of geeky too. So that was really nice. We discovered that of all things we have in common, a love for tea. I mean, we're like these sort of rabid tea drinkers, you know, with the different cups and the different cups and sauces and the different teapots and the different, no bags, we brew, and it's a whole ritual thing around tea. So the more we get to know each other, the more we have a lot in common. And when I see us now on dailies, we actually look like we could be family. We look like we as kin. So that's a really nice. It's nice to see it gelling and coming together. It's in your mind for the longest time, and then when you actually see it on the screen, you go, "Oh wow, that's working."
It's always cool when it comes together like that. But I gotta know, what's your go-to tea? What's your favorite tea?
Oh gosh, right now I'm really rocking Mariage Frere. It's a French company that I import. I'm hardcore. I get it from India. I get it from France. I get it from Morocco. But it's Mariage Frere. Imperial Wedding is my favorite tea at the moment.
I like it. Very nice. So you have the Equalizer going on. You also have Your Honor that people are really starting to get into. So what was the most interesting part of that experience? Because again, that's a show where it's going into a bunch of different places, and just goes to show that life is definitely not black and white. So what really stood out the most here?
You know, that's the nail biter of a show, because that's that legal thriller. It would present itself as a as just a legal show, but as a parent, reading the scripts, I was just mortified and terrified. How far would you go for your child, and how far is too far, and what are the consequences? You know, and what consequences would you bear to protect your child? You know, those are limits that you hope you never ever have. I see a wedding picture up there. I don't know if you have children, but you hope to never, ever have to make the kinds of choices that Cranston's character has to make. And you watch everyone go with him as he spirals down this rabbit hole. And where is it going to end? So New Orleans was great. You know, New Orleans ain't what it used to be, but you know, no places as a result of the pandemic. It was, we were in New Orleans, but I was pretty sequestered because of the pandemic. So, you know, it's all coming back. It's all coming
Definitely. Yeah, it all come back in a big way. And it's just nice that we have these TV shows to kind of, you know, put us through at the moment. I mean, what else would we be doing, right? We're just stuck at home. We need stuff to watch here.
You know, I've kept busy during the pandemic primarily because, you know, we need content, we need product, because if you're like me, man, I mean, I am like these screens have been our lifelines to the world. And I've never felt more needed as an artist as I have in this pandemic, and responsible for the product we put out too, you know, to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And as well as really distracting people, be really entertaining. And I think that's what the Equalizer is going to do. It's fast moving. I like shoot 'em up boy movies. I just love it. And Queen is such a badass in it. I'm looking forward to watching it just as a viewer.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it's really interesting when it comes to TV shows and movies, because it's like we want to entertain people, but sometimes we want to hit people right in the gut. And when I think about Orange is the New Black, like that just smacked people right in the face to be like, this is what life in prison can look like. And especially for your character too in that show, it's like, I'm going to be running things, but I may not be there for a really long time. So what do you remember about when that show came out? Because it was such a massive deal for so many different reasons.
I was working in a vacuum. That was the last time I was in New York until I came back to do the Equalizer. And you have no idea how it's going to be received. And I was shocked at the reception of that year's when it dropped. It blew my mind. But you know, it was one of the most fun characters I think I've played. She had a level of freedom, and the producers gave me, Lorraine, a level of freedom to create that show that most days I got to surprise myself. I was sort of like always standing on my own shoulder going, oh, wow, look what V's doing now. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I didn't see that one coming. Oh, wow. I felt like I was watching V unfold at the same time that she was delivering. So I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad she's back to sleep. She's been put back. She's dormant again. And you know, that was a tough one to live with for a year, right under my skin. So I'm playing a very nice auntie in the Equalizer. In the middle of a pandemic, that's a gift.
Definitely. I mean, you have such a range of the characters you've played, like even Flo Kennedy in The Glorious. That's a movie I watched recently with my wife, or being in Selma. How do you look at all these different roles? Like, what is your goal when you take a part in a movie or a show like this?
I look at, is it going to challenge me? Does it speak to is it within my moral compass? And is it something I've done before? How much fun can I have? How complex are these characters? I take them for slightly different reasons, but I do love complexity. Oh gosh, you know, I like those complicated psyches. Anything complicated, throw it my way. I'm down for it.
Well, that speaks to the Juilliard in you, right? I mean, that's like the biggest challenge you can have as an actor when you're first starting out. What do you remember about your days in New York?
Oh my gosh, you know, I took my daughter to Juilliard the other day. She's 16, and I said, and I did this in this room, and I walked down this hall. She was like, oh.
Like, yeah, mom, cool, thanks.
You know, God, get over it, mom. But that was an amazing, you know, I got so much training from Juilliard that I thought I would never use. And when I was doing Into the Badlands, I got to reach into that Juilliard bag, man, and I pulled out the ability to create an entire language phonetically, which that's the kind of technical skills they give you at Juilliard. And so that was one of the fun parts of Into the Badlands, that she spoke Serut Miglogski Sid Yefirat Diorayem Yaish Tukwish Denja. Just this whole language that has synapses and it has rules and grammar, and it was a whole language, and I wanted to speak the language, not just mimic the language. So that's the geek in me. That's the Juilliard geek in me. I wanted to just get all of the grammar of it. So
that's a really cool story, and it just speaks to your story in general. I mean, you've been doing this thing for a minute, but like you said, like, you're busier than you've ever been. You have this whole runway in front of you. So what has been the key to your longevity, Lorraine? Because sticking it out in this industry is not an easy thing, but you've really carved out this great niche. So what have you really been able to do here? How have you made it happen?
I have a really great life away from this that is important to me, really important to me, if not more important, as important. I have incidentally and accidentally reinvented myself. You would call it reinvention, but mostly I follow my heart, and I just don't think I should quit until I'm really ready, and that signal hasn't come yet. And I challenge myself. I like to do interesting pieces of work that has nothing to do with celebrity or what may be expected of me. I really follow my heart with the roles that I take and the projects that I get involved myself in. So I don't know, it's sort of just kind of happened, and I'm interested in me. I'm curious. I'm curious, and I have a sense of real curiosity about myself and the work. So it seems to be serving.
I think it's worked out for you. You mentioned the reinvention. When did that happen, and what did that look like?
I've tried to quit a couple of times.
Yeah.
And thought, oh, I'm good. It's time to leave the party. And one of those times was right before Orange, and clearly I wasn't. The business part of this can be really frustrating and difficult. And sometimes I just feel like, oh God, there's so much more I want to do. And how do I do it within the parameters of the business part of this? But somehow the universe keeps shoving me back into the ring, No, you've got another few rounds. Go, get in there, fight. And so I do. And I'm creating projects now. I'm producing projects and I'm writing them. And again, my life is very interesting. I have a really interesting life apart from the screen, which feeds the screen. So I don't know. Live well, I guess.
You got the balance with both. I think that's worked for you. And I'm glad you're still in the ring. I'm glad you're still doing your thing, and keep on going with everything. You are awesome in everything you do. It's really nice to meet you. Congrats on your success, and we'll talk to you down the road, all right?
I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thanks.